came back to force.
Yes,
force
in the 9 minutes there. Both games actually good goals were scored via penalty shootout. Musa Najeri actually got from the penalty spot, but he missed a lot of chances in that game.
But I think Warri Wolves probably will need to watch it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because in this kind of games, you have to take your chances and try to keep clean sheets at home if you really want to go far. But then they had done the job in the first leg, winning 3-2. So, I mean, they knew what they had to do, and they just got the result that they required. And so, Warri Wolves Bayelsa through to the second round of the CAF Confederations Cup. But let's talk about the next round for the Nigerian teams. Bayelsa United are going to be playing a team from Zimbabwe. How Mine, that's what they call them. And it's sponsored by a mining company. A mining company, I beg your pardon. A mining company sponsors this team, and very rich. So they've been able to put the best players together. Bayelsa cannot afford to take them for granted. And then Warri Wolves are facing two-nation opposition, CS Byzantine. So it's really tricky for the two Nigerian teams in the CAF Confederations Cup. We hope they are able to navigate these tricky obstacles, but it's really games that they really need to prepare adequately for and see how far they can go.
Of course. I think the biggest one for me is that though the other team from Zimbabwe is not really well known, but
these are unknown quantities.
Unknown quantities they can actually put peaks to your ambition. But for the team from Tunisia, the Bizerte team is a team that we all know, and they will definitely give Warri Wolves a good one for their money. Just like you said, there's need for them, the teams, to prepare adequately. We can't afford to crash out at this stage of the competition right now, because looking at the way things have actually pounded out, we're out. The two teams are out of the CAF Champions League, and CAF will actually be looking at this. If we don't eventually do well in even the Confederations Cup, there's that possibility that CAF might actually take one slot away from us. So there's need for the teams to actually prepare very well and ensure that they do well in the Confederations Cup.
All right, let's talk about Warri Wolves. Beg your pardon, Bayelsa United. Ladan Boso, few weeks to the first leg of this game.
Deserted the team.
They left the team, but they've been able to navigate their way, get a result.
So far.
Yeah, so far. But they need to really sort out that coaching department, strengthen the squad. I'm bringing maybe an experienced coach. If that's what they want to do, they need to act as quickly as they can, so that this team can build on this kind of success.
It depends on what the Bayelsa state government, how far they are willing to invest in the success of this team. They really did decently well last season. Nobody gave them a chance to actually compete for the title. And up to the last 3-4 weeks of the season, they were still in competition for the title, and that was a really surprising performance from a team that was just newly promoted. So I'm thinking that that should have spurred their sponsors on to think that, yes, maybe with greater investments in the playing personnel, in the coaching staff, that we might achieve big things. And the fact that they're also on the continent is also particularly attractive for them in attracting sponsors as well. So they really have to sort out what it is that they want to achieve with this team, not only this season, but in the long term. Because the way coaching and players and coaches contracts are structured, there is no room for a long-term thing. So that's why coaches and players can move as quickly as possible. So they have to sort that out as quickly as possible in order to decide what they want to do with this team.
All right, the other game that was played over the weekend on the continent for Nigeria in the CAF Confederations Cup was Warri Wolves against Union Douala of Cameroon, Union Sportive Douala of Cameroon. The game ended 1-1, but Warri Wolves had done the job in the first leg, and so they were able to move through. Let's bring you highlights of that game as well. How Warri Wolves were able to take out Union Douala, qualify for the next round of the CAF Confederation Cup. We'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
And there they go. happened in Douala and I'm able to stop it. I know that God has dedicated me in Jesus is not sleeping.
So that was how it ended 1-1. Warri Wolves 1, Union Sportive Douala 1. But then not enough for the Cameroonians to go through. Warri Wolves after doing the job in the first leg. But let's quickly go to read a few comments that we have on Twitter. A lot of people are reacting to the issues we've raised, particularly about Nigeria's uninspiring performance at the IAAF World Indoors in Poland. And Oluwa Shuyi Ebenezer says, our limitation to some particular sports makes us find ourselves where we are right now. I don't understand what it means. Maybe he wants us to explore a lot more sports so that we can have a lot more opportunities to win medals. But even the ones we're
supposed to have,
we should I mean, show that we are good.
Athletics, for God's sake. Nigeria has a tremendous history in athletics.
And Tony at Tony147 says it's not all about preparation. The athletes themselves are not determined. That's what he says. He says they are lazy. They don't want to work hard. How true can that be?
When you are in a very conducive atmosphere, you definitely you'll be very motivated to do very well. I remember when Christine Owurogu came and she was interviewed why
she came to Nigeria.
Yeah, they asked her why she opted to play to run for Great Britain. She said, "Look, she likes the atmosphere. She was given everything she actually needs to succeed, which she might not get if she were to don the colors of Nigeria." So for me,
and her kid sister is also getting that same amount of support training, because she's also a major contender in the women's 800 meters now.
That's what we're talking about. Evangelist Joseph Arum at Arum Joseph says, Nigerian sports has all it takes to reach its peak. We've got inexhaustible strength, courage, and determination. But then why don't we always hit it? I mean, that's the question. We have all the potentials, we have all the talent, we have everything that you have described, but why don't we just hit the mark? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. Kevin Amata at Kevin Amata says a well-articulated grassroots policy based on discovery and grooming of athletes from infancy can make all the difference. And Basanya Kabiru Tunde also on Twitter says, Noga Games was just concluded a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Are we saying we don't have good athletes that we can build for the future from avenues such as the Noga Games? Well, the sports ministry are also doing the World Youth, National Youth Games, grassroots sports, NASCOM, I mean, Premier Lotto in Lagos, churning out young athletes in secondary schools, school sports. I mean, can't we build on all of this for the future? It says we're seeing the same old faces, and they keep failing and keep falling our hands.
Tony, I think I heap the blame on the coaches and administrators. I remember when that former Olympic gold medalist came on Sport Tonight. I've forgotten his name right now.
Lee Evans?
Yeah, Lee Evans.
Lee Evans. When he came here, and when you ask him why...
about coaching.
Talk about coaching. I think if the coaches are not lazy, they can go to most of those places,
about
venues, discover talents,
and then nurturing those talents to international standards.
There's also some kind of internal rivalry, because Lee Evans was saying he actually identifies some of these very talented
this is my coach.